Northwestern Railway is run by many engines of all different shapes and sizes, and colored in many different colors. There are blue engines, big and small alike. There's also big engines. And smaller ones too. There are also big tank engines and small tender engines, but no matter what, they all want to be really useful, no matter how they're feeling. Whoa, little Tyler, calm down. Why are you so rough today? You could have knocked me off the rails. Sorry, Reggaby. I'm just in a foul mood today. All my jobs have been given to other engines because I've been busy here all month. I just want to leave. I don't want to push trucks around anymore. I long for a change. Well, little Tyler, you don't expect them to make big, strong, and important engines like myself to shunt in the yards, do you, little Tyler? Oh, be off if you please. Your train is ready. I don't even know why you're waiting around. Well, we can't leave without the guards' notice, can we now? Well, there you go. I'll be off now, Tyler. I mustn't keep waiting. And with that, Reggaby proudly puffed away, leaving a still very cross Tyler behind him. Bossy boiler. Silly big engines, Tyler murmured to himself as he puffed away. But he wouldn't be the only engine being put to the test. A very tired Albert was helping some workmen repair an old bridge after Crosby Station. The bridge wasn't repaired in a long time, and was proving unsafe for mainline work. My horrible, horrible life. I've been helping so much recently. Where's Emily when you need her? I haven't slept in days. While Albert was working on the bridge, further up the line came Gerald. He was pulling a freight train from the docks, and was hoping to get back to his sheds as soon as possible. He was feeling very poorly, and was looking forward to a rest. But then there was trouble. As he was approaching where Albert was working, it happened. Coughed Gerald. Oh, bother! We'll never get back to my nice cozy shed now! Your cozy shed? Mate, I think you need to go visit Jesus or something. From the way you came in, it sounded like you were going to blow. Oh, well, thank you for your concern. Oh, dear brother. Oh, Albert just yawned. Are you okay? You seem redder than my paintwork. Well, what does it look like to you? Oh, sorry, it's just, I'm feeling really stressed out today. I haven't visited the works in a while, and my steaming issues have been really getting to me this week. Oh yeah, your steaming issues. Haven't heard you mention them in a while. Oh, I just need to catch my breath, that's all. I'll stay here for a little while. I'll be on my way soon. And, are you okay? You seem off today, too. Yeah, I'm fine. I just haven't gotten much sleep recently. This maintenance trains do require a lot of energy. While the engines talked, a workman came up to Albert. We need to go to a different section, please. Once we set the cranes and get all the people in the coach, you can back up. And with that, the workman left. Albert didn't exactly give him a clear answer, but that was enough for the workman, so he went back to go enter the coach. But all Albert heard was back up. I guess I have to go now. See you later, Gerald. And then there was trouble. Before the workman could do anything, Albert was already backing up, and with a bang and a splutter, he bumped into the breakdown crane. Everything that the workmen had set up came crashing down at Albert, bumping the cranes. They made a loud noise and fell everywhere. Thankfully, Albert heard this and quickly stopped. "Uh-oh, sorry," cried Albert. One of the workmen came from the rubble. He was completely covered all over with dust and rubbish. "You silly grease engine. You could have killed people. What were you thinking?" I don't know, sir," said Albert, stammering over his words. Later that day, once Gerald was up and moving again, he made his way to Farquhar Station where he would finally get a rest and some maintenance done to him. He left his trucks in a siding and was about to leave for a shed when a workman came up. "Could you please leave those trucks somewhere else? We're going to need that siding later for a freight train we need you to pull." "I suppose I can." "Great, I'll go let the station master know." And with that, the workman left to go tell him. Come on, we need to go," said Gerald and gave them a bump. He started to push and push, but the trucks wouldn't move. They just started to giggle to themselves. "Oh, come on, we can't stay here." But the trucks didn't want to move. They wanted to stay there. "Alright then, if I can't push you out of this siding, then I'll pull you out." And with a great heave, he charged forward, but the truck stood their ground. Later, the three engines met up at the yards, and none of them were happy at all. "Those blasted new hopper trucks. I don't know why we even use them anymore. They're the most troublesome trucks on the whole island." If only they were, it would make my life easier. I now am handling accidents and maintenance on the railway too, and it's taking a lot of energy out of me. Imagine what I go through in the yard. "Oh, little Tyler, go get my coaches. Tyler, where are my trunks?" Those big engines. They think I can go as fast as a lightning bolt. I find myself every day resisting the urge to shove a tanker up there. What we probably should do is try and talk to the fat director. "Oh," said Tyler with a mischievous smile. "What if we switch jobs? I work at the quarry, Gerald takes the maintenance trains, and Albert shuns in the yards. What can go wrong? We're clearly unhappy in our current positions, so maybe we should switch it up a bit." "Well, I don't care. As long as I get away from those stupid trucks, I'll do any job. It sounds like a done deal. Yes, handshake or whatever. Let's just do it." So, it was arranged with their drivers, and Tyler went off to the quarry. Hey Tyler, what's up? What are you doing here? Did Gerald do something stupid? No, he actually did something really smart, by agreeing to switch jobs with me. Well, I already see the many ways this is going to end up in disaster, so I'm going to leave before I get any more involved. Silly 1020, I don't think this is going to go wrong at all. I think it might make our lives better, actually. And with that, Tyler puffed away with his train. But Tyler reckoned without the trucks. Indeed, in their typical truck fashion, they were causing problems, and it was making Tyler's life harder. Ugh, now I know what Gerald's always complaining about, he thought to himself. He tried to fight against the trucks, but to no avail. The harder he bumped them, the harder they caused more trouble. It finally all boiled down when they approached an old cottage. They rounded a bend, and suddenly came a tunnel. The tunnel was old, and it was there for many years, without any proper maintenance done to it. As Tyler went inside of it, he found that it was long, narrow, and very uncomfortable to be in. Then it happened. Ouch! What was that? Tyler said, as he suddenly surged forwards. He found that outside the tunnel was a signal set against him. "Father," he said as he stopped. "Never mind," said his driver. "It's a perfect time to inspect you to see what happened." And they looked him all over. Finally, they found the matter. "Aha!" exclaimed his fireman. "So I knew I saw something fall down from the tunnel. A brick hit into your safety valve." His driver also climbed up to see if he could help. Some minor adjustments were made, but soon he was ready to leave. "Oh, botheration. I'm surely gonna be late now." He indeed was, and the quarry manager went on and on about it. He came back to the yards feeling very cross. He was complaining to 1020 at the station. "Oh, never mind, Terry," comforted 1020. "Worse things have happened to Gerald. Once the water rose so high at the bridge that a fish came out of it and slapped him in the face." "I did not need to hear that, 1020. Please shut your mouth." "Oh, come on, it's a nice story. Oh, you young whippersnappers can't handle a little humility. That's what you get for being too big for your buffers." "Oh, be quiet, 1020. You talk more than you know. Now I have to go move my trucks for my next train." As Tyler was heading to shunt his trucks, they started to provoke him about his incident at the tunnel. He was so mad that he gave them a large bump, too large in fact, as they were going too fast towards the siding. "Uh-oh," 1020 said to himself. "So there, if you ever dare to bother me or Gerald again," Tyler wheezed angrily. The trucks were not amused. Meanwhile, with Albert, he wasn't getting on nice in the yards. Albert, your trucks aren't supposed to go there. Schedule says they're supposed to be on track 5, not here." "What do you mean? Manager says they're supposed to be over here, not there." "Well, whatever you heard, you're wrong. They're not supposed to be there. I would know." Wherever Albert thought trucks were supposed to go, Thomas would always come and tell him it was wrong. And every time, Albert just moved his trucks to wherever Thomas wanted them. "That's not where they go, Albert. The coaches are supposed to be over there for Henry's passenger train. Move them, please." "Thomas, trucks should be where you want them and when you want them, and I won't play this guessing game with you, so you move them." I wouldn't have to say anything if he had a sense for shunting, and he angrily puffed away with his coaches. Later, Albert was moving one half of a goods train into a siding. He was still feeling cross about what Thomas was doing, and he was looking on ways to pay him out. He was so distracted in his fury that he wasn't paying attention on how fast he was going, nor how close to the buffers he was. Suddenly, rounding a corner was Thomas. He was shunting some trucks in another siding when he saw Albert. "Albert, the trucks don't go there," Thomas cried out to him. Albert had finally had enough, and he quickly surged forwards. Albert crashed his trucks in a siding, and stinky fish went all over Thomas. He was most cross about it. But then, suddenly... Splat! Went a box of lime onto Albert. He looked terrible. The trucks at the front of the train were broken, battered, and bruised when they hit the buffers. It was a terrible mess, and it was bound to cause many delays. Meanwhile, further up the line, Gerald was at Creven's gate cleaning up another mess that happened at the crossing. He was not pleased about it at all. Well, Marklin, can't go one day without crashing, eh? I remember last week you caused another mess like this. Oh, you clumsy engine, what do you have to say for yourself? But Marklin said nothing, he just stared. Before Gerald could exchange any more insults, with a loud whistle and a loud wheeze, Marklin puffed away. He did not care much for Gerald, and he puffed away with the remaining cars. Oh yes, go away, you rotten old twat. Some engines, I swear. Suddenly, coming down the line was a small yellow engine approaching the crossing. He whistled loudly, "Peep! Peep!" "Move out of my way, please," Proteus huffed. "I have very special shipment and it must arrive today." "I've got important work to do too, little one. I can't just move when you demand it. Be patient." Absolutely gut-wrenching to talk to anyone that way. "Move over!" And he whistled again. "If you continue to annoy me, I swear I'll pick you up with this crane." "Oh, I'll show you," Proteus cried, and he suddenly surged forwards. "You know what?" Gerald complained. "I think I'll quit. Bye-bye, I'm out of here. I think I will go back with my trucks. Thank you very much." Later that evening, Gerald made his way to the sheds, where he also found Tyler and Albert, feeling very cross themselves. "Oh, there you are, Gerald," said 1020. "Where have you been? I heard of your switch earlier today. So, how's it going? I heard you're handling the maintenance trains now." "I guess it's going okay. Why do you ask?" "Oh, Winston was just telling me how mad you looked leaving the station. Did something in particular happen?" "No, nothing happened. Stop interrogating me." "Oh, nothing happened, Gerald, huh? Well, I remember a certain engine telling me you left the cranes behind after Proteus got into an accident with you. Be more careful next time. This is no child's play." "Be quiet, Albert. I heard that you were causing problems at the yards too." "Well, it seems both of you are lacking in brain cells. Nothing ever happened to me. I'm a reliable and useful engine, not a klutz like you two." Now, Tyler," 1020 said. "Didn't you have a certain accident at the tunnel?" "What tunnel?" asked Gerald. "Oh, it's that stupid tunnel. It's too narrow and small. A brick fell on me." While the engines were arguing, a big red engine was making his way to the sheds. He was a visitor to the island and was eager to see the engines. When Albert and Tyler saw who the engine was, they were pleasantly surprised, but Gerald didn't care all that much. "Oh, Roderick! What are you doing here? Rebecca's told us you would be here soon, but we didn't expect this soon." Winston, however, was puzzled. "Who's this?" he asked. "I've never seen him before." Once the engines exchanged pleasantries, Roderick backed up into the berth next to Winston. Winston had never been more impressed in his life. Winston, starstruck, looked at Roderick with amazement. "Wow, you look really good in your red paint, and you look really strong." "Oh, well, thank you, Winston, was it?" "Well, yes, thank you. I am very strong. I'm one of the strongest on my line," he boasted. "You certainly are strong. I remember you were one of the engines who was able to handle Old Roof." "Ha! Old Coach went up in flames." The whole night was spent talking to Roderick, and by the next morning, Albert was already feeling better. He was in the yard refueling himself with coal when he saw Roderick leave with his passenger train. "Peep, peep," said Roderick. "Bye-bye, Albert." "Bye, Roderick. See you some other time." When Roderick left the yards, Albert went back to refueling himself, when suddenly, a very frantic Timothy came up to him. "Oh, Albert, thank goodness I found you," Timothy said. "Could you please do me a favor? I'm scheduled to take a passenger train next, but I don't really want to take it. I'm still really shaken up from the accidents I had. And I haven't pulled passengers in a long time, so could you please take the train for me? I'll shunt in the yards for you. Yeah, sure thing, Timothy. I could really use a good long run down the line to ease my joints. And with saying that, Albert quickly scampered off to go get his coaches. He was happy to find that the coaches he was pulling was Annie and Clarabelle. Well, flatten my funnel, exclaimed Albert. I never expected you two quaint ladies to be on a train of mine. How are you?
We're quite fine, Albert dear. Thank you for asking.
That's great to hear. Taking a break from mainline work, I see.
Just to catch our breath, dear. It's not permanent.
Ah, I see. Well, we better get going. And with that, Albert quickly coupled up to Annie and Clarabelle. Albert arrived at the junction and quickly stopped. He now had to wait for Henry to arrive. I hope Henry arrives soon, Albert said. I don't want to keep my passengers waiting. They mustn't be late. But they wouldn't be late, as Henry was coming along the line. Henry slowly made his way to the station. He was feeling terrible. His funnel felt stuffed up and he couldn't make steam. He solemnly puffed into the platform. Hey Albert, sorry I'm late. We had trouble starting from the last station. Never mind, Henry. You made a great effort making it to here. All you need is a proper cleaning. I suppose you're right. Oh, and my funnel feels so stuffed. Oh, Henry, did you have to do it here? Sorry, I couldn't help it, Henry answered feebly. Meanwhile, Gerald was working on another section of tracks. He was feeling very bored as he watched the other engines pass by with their trains. He was hoping that he'd get to move soon. When just then, the foreman came up to him. He needed to talk to him. Alright, Gerald. The workmen picked up all their tools, scaffolding, and everything. They're in the coach right now, and everything is ready. We need to move on to a different section now. Gerald was really starting to grow tired of the workmen telling him what to do, and he was hoping that the week would be over soon so he could go back to the quarry. Everyone was ready to go, and Gerald was feeling still very angry. He was so focused on what he'd do next, when he forgot that there was a tool van in front of him, and suddenly, BAM! The coach smashed right into him. The workman felt a large jolt. "Bother!" cried Gerald. "This is going to take even longer to clean up." But then there was trouble. As an engine's whistle boomed in the background, Emily came rushing down the line with a very hefty freight train. She was in a rush as she was late leaving the station and was trying to make up for lost time. As she went over the switch, she cried out in horror. On the line were the tools from the tool van. They had spilled out and were now blocking the line. Then it happened. As Emily ran over the tools, she felt a large jolt behind her. "Oh dear," said Emily. She felt unharmed, but was not sure what the sound was. Hopefully it's nothing, Emily thought, but she would be proven wrong. The sound Emily heard was the trucks breaking away from the train. Now they were standing still to where Gerald was working. "Well, that's torn it," Gerald thought. "We're gonna have to take the train to Emily, driver. We can't just leave it here. Someone might hit into it." Gerald quickly sprung into action and coupled himself up to the train. And with a determined whistle, he quickly puffed away with the remaining cars. He was making his way down the line trying to match Emily's speed, but it wasn't going well. He was going through tunnels, over bridges, through signals, and passing signal boxes. Finally, the station came into view where Emily was sitting with one half of her train. She looked pleased to see Gerald. "Here are your trucks, Emily," said a very out-of-breath Gerald. "Phew! You left him behind at the station." "Thank you, Gerald," Emily kindly replied. "I heard a sound as I was passing you, but I could have never known it was my trucks breaking apart, so thank you." Poor Gerald was too out of breath to say anything, so he just let out a feeble wheeze. You know what's funny? The irony of this situation. I was the first engine to help you when we met, and now you're the one helping me. So I guess we're finally even, Emily laughed. She wouldn't be laughing for long, as a very smug-looking Tyler came into the station. "What's the matter, Gerald? Run out of hot air in that smoke box of yours? How unfortunate." "You know," Tyler started boasting, "despite my first little incident on the line, the quarry manager says he's never seen a more useful or reliable engine, so I think we should arrange with the Fat Director for this change to be permanent." "In your dreams," Gerald said out of breath. "I'm more experienced with those trucks there, Tyler. I know all the trickery they can get up to. You'd probably lose your funnel if you weren't careful." Emily couldn't help but laugh at the two engines' argument. Just then, the guard's whistle loudly boomed. "Yeah," said Tyler, "that would be the day I lose my funnel." And with that, he quickly puffed away, still boasting with pride. Tyler was making his way down the branch line, but the trucks were immediately starting to plot their plans as they were approaching the gradient. They knew what they were going to do. As Tyler started to climb the gradient, the trucks slyly put their brakes on, just enough for not Tyler to notice, and just enough for it to weaken the couplings. As they climbed higher and higher, the coupling weakened more and more when finally, snap! They broke the coupling, but that wasn't the end of it. They started to go faster and faster as they started to descend, and soon they were chasing Tyler down the line. "Horrors!" cried Tyler as he figured out they were behind him.
"As fast as you can, as fast as you can,"
laughed the cars. His driver frantically opened the regulator and the fireman was scooping in coal like there was no tomorrow. The trucks were gradually starting to catch up. Oh dear, cried Tyler. He rushed down the line as fast as he could, ignoring all signals and cars. The signalman saw Tyler rushing down the line, and then there was trouble. He tried to switch the trucks onto a different line, but he was too slow, and then there was trouble. It was a horrible mess. The silly trucks' wheels got stuck into the points, and they crashed off the rails, blocking the line. Tyler wasn't pleased at all about this, and neither was the fat director. I am very disappointed in the three of you. I expect my engines to come to me with their grievances, and if there's anything wrong with their workload, then they should come to me to fix that, not try to fix it on their own. Now with you, Gerald, I'm not surprised. There's always something up. But with you, Tyler, well, this was quite unexpected. But you, Albert, I thought you were smarter than this. I'm disappointed. After the fat director finished talking, he stepped on his heel and walked away. When he did, the engines gave each other a worrisome look. Well, not Gerald. He didn't really care. Well, lads, we've officially royally messed up. Oh dear, what he's gonna do to us, I don't want to think about it. Well, he's probably gonna make us carry rubbish cars, or scrap trucks, or who knows, maybe even worse. Meh, I think anything is better than handling with those trucks. The maintenance train sucked, but at least I didn't have to deal with them. I just hope we manage to make it back in his good graces, or I don't know. Albert and Tyler agree with each other, but they didn't know how to do it. But soon, the chance would come, the very next day actually, when Albert was in the yards. Just then, rolling along came Nicholas. He blew his whistle loudly, which woke Albert up. Oh, hey Albert. Sorry, I didn't see you there. I'm busy shunting these coaches for the next train. It's fine, Albert sighed. I've experienced worse this week than some simple whistle. Oh, I'm glad I didn't disturb you then, he said cluelessly. Say, what are you doing here? Don't you have any work to do? Not really. Gerald is still doing my maintenance trains, unbeknownst to the fat director, of course. And I'm just catching some Z's. I don't have any shunting to do anyways. Oh, alright then. Well, I'm gonna go get these coaches to the station. There's going to be a lot of important people in this train, including the fat director, and I mustn't be late. So bye-bye, Albert. I'll see you later at the sheds. A little later, Albert was sleeping again. He was sleeping soundly too, when suddenly he was interrupted by sounds of engines puffing next to him. What's the matter here? Albert asked. Oh, Winston pulled a piston too hard, and now his cylinder is leaking, and someone needs to take the train. The fat director asked me to get 2 more tank engines to help me since there's no one available. Would you be interested? Are you talking about the very special train full of important people? If you are, there's no way the 2 of us can pull it. I know that, Albert. That's why I'm going to look for someone else. Do you think Thomas could help? Thomas is too busy in the yards to help. The other engines have left to do the other job, so it's just him and Nicholas. But you know who could help? Gerald. He's right now at Lower Knapford. Go get him and take him to the station. I'll come join you too soon. I just need to refuel myself. Alright then, if you're so sure. And Tyler quickly scampered off to go get Gerald, while Albert stayed behind. Oh dear, this is going to be a difficult task, I'm sure, he thought. Albert made his way to the station, finding a very impatient Gerald waiting for him. Where were you? Gerald bowled. Tyler said you were going to refuel yourself. You certainly took your sweet time with it. Leave him alone, Gerald, Tyler said. We're going to need a lot of puff for this. We're not all powered by hot air like you are. Give it a rest, you two. This is a very heavy train, and we need absolute concentration for this. We cannot slip up at all. Calm down, Albert. If any common express engine can do this, then why not 3 tank engines? Oh, and there's the guard. Come on, we must go. The engines with a great heave got the train moving. They were determined to work really hard and make it to the last station. The coaches rattled and groaned behind the engines. They were trying their best to keep a steady pace on the rails and not lose their grip. They were trying to go as fast as Gordon and Regaby, but they weren't going all that fast. The passengers didn't mind. They understood the circumstances and cheered the engines on. But then, trouble ensued. As they were passing Crosby, they could hear a loud bang coming from Albert. He felt a sharp pain and could feel as if he could go no longer, and the train started to gradually slow down. "What's going on?" Tyler asked. "What's the meaning of this?" Gerald boomed. "Oh, guys, I'm so sorry, but something's wrong," Albert groaned, and they quickly stopped. "What do you mean something's wrong?" said a very tired Tyler. "Oh, we were going so well too." "I don't know," Albert whimpered. "I feel so weak now. I can't move an inch anymore. I don't know what's wrong." "Your tubes were bent out of place, Albert. That's what's the matter. You're leaking water all over. But don't worry, we'll fix that soon enough. We just need to make a few adjustments," his driver said. "Well, that's done it. We're going to be late now, and Gordon is never gonna let us forget it. Oh, botheration." Finally, all of Albert's issues were put straight, and the trio was ready to commence the main line again. They quickly charged again to get the train moving, and thankfully they managed to start at a recordly time. The three engines finally arrived at Crovan's gate. They were tired, but proud of themselves. They very tiredly slinked into the station where a very rude engine was waiting for them to take the train onwards. Finally, it took you little twerps long enough to arrive. I felt I was waiting for ages. The three engines were uncoupled from the train and they all went home together. They decided it would be a good idea to sleep at Tidmouth that evening. They didn't want to go back all the way to Knapford. They were quite exhausted. "You know," Tyler started, "how much I hate the odds. I think I prefer it over silly trucks and pulling express trains. I think I'd rather go back to my lovely little yard. And I think some action in my life would do me good instead of staying in sidings all day. And I think I'm done with shunting in the yards with Thomas for a while."
What's the matter, Grandpa?
I think Prodigy is up to trouble.
Oh, that's nonsense, Grandpa.
I'm serious, youngster. He's messed something up for sure.
I think you're going soft in the boiler.
I'm sure he's done something.
Yeah, I'll see ya, bitches.
It would never suit his grace.